Only before death did I realize that my husband's heart belonged only to the village beauty, Su Jiaojiao. They wept and embraced each other by my hospital bed. If it weren't for Jiaojiao wanting to go to college and needing your admission letter, how could I have married a crude village woman like you? Fortunately, you're dying now. What? I had gotten into college back then. Before I could even react in anger, my son suddenly burst into the hospital room. I thought he had come to stand up for me, but instead, he said to me, "You old hag. You've been occupying my real mother's place for so many years. Hurry up and die. Don't delay our family of 3 from reuniting." What? The son I had raised with such hardship turned out to be their illegitimate child, unable to bear the blow of the truth. I vomited a mouthful of old blood and passed out. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day before my admission letter was stolen. "Fong Fong, I'll go to the village entrance to get your admission letter for you. It's so sunny." "You shouldn't go." The familiar voice echoed in my ears. After clearly seeing the features of the person before me, I felt a wave of terror. What's going on? Why am I seeing Zhao Jianghai from his younger days? Didn't I almost die from being infuriated by that family of 3? Seeing my pale face, he said with fake concern, "Look at you. You must have heatstroke. Go home and rest quickly." Pushed by him with force, I fell onto the scorching dirt road. The pain instantly brought me back to my senses. This isn't a dream. I've been reborn. Reborn to the day my acceptance letter was stolen. In my previous life, Zhao Jianghai also said he would help me get my acceptance letter. I believed it. Waiting at home like a fool. But what I got was, "Fong Fong, you didn't make the cut." I cried my heart out. How I wished I could go to university with him. He held me, gently comforting me. "It's okay. Even if you're not a college student, I will still marry you. Later. You'll stay home and take care of mom and dad. Once I've settled down in the city, I'll bring you over." Once again, I foolishly believed him. I gave him all my dowry to use for his university education. And at home, I served my in-laws, enduring their beatings and scoldings without daring to utter a single complaint. Later, he did indeed take me to the city. As soon as we met, he handed me a child. He said he had accidentally injured himself and could never have children in this lifetime. He said he couldn't let me go through life without the hope of becoming a mother. So he took it upon himself to adopt an abandoned baby. Let me raise this abandoned baby as my own son. I still believed it. I gave that child my whole heart. Yet he orders me around and looks down on me as his mother from the bottom of his heart. But I still love him dearly. Yet I never could have imagined that after over 20 years of hard work and dedication, I would become the biggest joke of all. My husband, whom I have loved deeply my entire life, has only ever had eyes for Su Jiaojiao. The village belle. The son I raised with immense hardship is the bastard child of their illicit affair. And all of this happened because I foolishly trusted this hypocritical and shameless scoundrel standing before me. An overwhelming tide of hatred nearly consumes me. I get up from the ground and brush the dust off my clothes. I looked at him and suddenly smiled. "No need, Zhao Jianghai. I'll go get my admission letter myself. In this life, I will not only reclaim my admission letter, but also settle every single debt they owe me from my past life." Zhao Jianghai frowned and took a step forward, blocking my way. "Be good. I'll go get it for you'dn't go." His urgent tone carried a barely noticeable note of command. "Zhao Jianghai, you're acting strangely today," I sneered, stopping in my tracks and staring directly at him. "Why won't you let me go? Are you hiding something from me?" He avoided eye contact. "No. What could I possibly be hiding from you? I just feel sorry for you. Afraid you might get tanned." "No need. I'm not afraid of the sun. Let's go to the village entrance together." But as soon as I took a step, my wrist was suddenly grabbed by him. His grip was incredibly strong, squeezing me until it hurt. In my past life, it was these seemingly gentle hands of his that pushed me into the abyss. Just as I was struggling with him, a sweet, delicate female voice came from not far away. "Brother Jianghai, why are you still here? Didn't we agree to go pick up the admission notice together?" I followed the voice and saw that face I hated to the bone. Su Jiaojiao. The village beauty. Zhao Jianghai loosened his grip instinctively upon hearing her voice. I suddenly pulled my hand back and slapped him hard with all my strength. Zhao Jianghai was stunned by the blow. Clutching his face, his eyes filled with disbelief. Yi Fangfang. Are you crazy? How dare you hit me? What's wrong with hitting you? I shouted at the top of my lungs before he could explode. You ungrateful, faithless scoundrel. You wouldn't let me go to the village entrance because you were afraid I'd catch you meeting with Su Jiaojiao. Right. My shout froze them both in their tracks. Zhao Jianghai and Su Jiaojiao visibly panicked. Yi Fangfang. What nonsense are you talking about? He hurriedly defended himself. Jiaojiao and I are innocent. Su Jiaojiao looked even more aggrieved. As if the sky had fallen. Her eyes reddened. And tears began to roll down her cheeks. Sister Fangfang. How could you slander my innocence like this? Brother Jianghai and I really have nothing. Her tears made Zhao Jianghai's heart ache terribly. He glared at me as if I were the one who had committed some unforgivable crime. I crossed my arms and stared at them coldly. If you're innocent, then let's go together to the village entrance. If you won't let me go, then you must have something to hide. I, Yi Fangfang, am not someone you can easily bully. I'll make sure the whole village knows about your sordid affair. Seeing my resolute attitude, which didn't seem like a joke, they exchanged a glance and had no choice but to grit their teeth and force out the words. All right, let's go together. Just as we reached the old locust tree at the village entrance, the postman uncle also arrived. My heart couldn't help but tighten with nervousness. The postman stopped his bike and rummaged through his green canvas bag, quickly pulling out a brown paper envelope. Who is Zhao Jianghai? Zhao Jianghai almost lunged forward, his face showing unrestrained joy. I am, uncle. I am Zhao Jianghai. The postman glanced at him. Give me your ID number. He fluently recited a string of numbers, signed his name, and snatched the envelope away. Then, the postman lowered his head again and took out another envelope. Who is Yi Fangfang? It's me. I'm Yi Fangfang. I felt as if my breath was about to stop, forcing myself to stay calm. I recited my ID number in a slightly trembling voice. The postman verified the information and handed the heavy envelope to me. I held it tightly in my arms, the substantial weight of it nearly bringing tears to my eyes. In my previous life, Zhao Jianghai had seen my ID card many times. He had memorized my ID number, making it easy for Su Jiaojiao to claim everything that should have been mine. They won't get away with this in this life. Uncle, what about mine? Su Jiaojiao blushed with anxiety. My name is Su Jiaojiao. Where's my acceptance letter? The postman frowned, rummaging through his bag again, then finally shook his head impatiently. There's none for you. With that, he mounted his bicycle and rode away, the bell ringing merrily. Su Jiaojiao's face instantly turned pale. She bit her lip, her eyes fixed intently on the envelope in my arms, as if she wanted to stare a hole through it. Zhao Jianghai saw she was about to cry and felt deeply distressed. He turned his head and said firmly to me, Fangfang, give your acceptance letter to Jiaojiao. I felt as though I had heard the greatest joke in the world, and I coldly raised my eyes to look at him. Impossible. A flicker of annoyance crossed Zhao Jianghai's face, yet he brazenly said, Fangfang, you're going to marry me sooner or later anyway. If I go to college and bring honor to our family, isn't that also bringing honor to you? Be good. Give the acceptance letter to Jiaojiao quickly. He spoke as if it were the most natural thing in the world, as though my existence was merely to add luster to his life. He and I were childhood sweethearts, a match arranged by our grandfathers. My parents always treated him as their son-in-law. Whenever we killed a chicken or stewed meat at home, the first bowl was always served to him. After my father passed away, my mother saw him as my only support, treating him with all her heart and soul, hoping he would protect me in the future. In my previous life, my mother was afraid he would suffer in the city, so she sold the only sow we had at home to send him money, hoping he could buy more good food and not let himself go hungry. But my mother died in a car accident while going to town to send him money. After learning about this, Zhao Jianghai didn't even come back to attend the funeral. only constantly urging me to send money, saying he was starving to death. Such a heartless wretch doesn't deserve to go to college. Zhao Jianghai, you're dreaming, I told him, word by word, with absolute clarity. This admission notice is something I worked hard for, staying up countless nights to earn. Why should I give it to Su Jiaojiao? Don't you have an admission letter too? Why don't you give yours away? His face darkened completely, the threat in his eyes almost taking physical form. Yi Fang, don't be so ungrateful. Hand over the notice now, or I'll call off our engagement. He thought this was my weakness. I laughed. Fine. I'll back out. Who cares? Zhao Jianghai was completely stunned, his astonished face as if he were seeing me for the first time. Indeed, in his eyes, I loved him so much that I had no sense of self. Willing to give up everything for him, how could I dare to mention breaking off the engagement? Seeing that I wouldn't yield, a ruthless glint flashed in his eyes. Then don't blame me for being ruthless. Before he could finish speaking, his towering figure lunged at me, trying to forcibly snatch the notice from my arms. In a split second, I dropped to my knees, grabbed a handful of sand from the ground, and with all my strength, hurled it fiercely into his eyes. Ah! He covered his eyes, writhing in pain on the ground. My eyes! My eyes! Jiao, grab her, don't let her run away. Only then did Su Jiao snap out of it, screaming as she lunged forward and tightly grabbed the hem of my clothes. Just because of her, a delicate lady who never works, unable to carry a thing or bear a burden, I slapped her backhand. Su Jiao was directly knocked to the ground by me, clutching her face, crying out in pain. I will never look at that despicable couple again. Clutching the scorching admission letter in my arms as if holding my life that I had lost and regained, I sprinted toward home without looking back. I ran all the way home, pushing open the door. I saw my mother feeding the chickens. She was still alive, standing vividly before me. Tears could no longer be held back and spilled out. I rushed over and hugged her tightly. Mom! Fang, what's wrong? Why are you crying? My mother was startled, patting my back helplessly. She thought about the reason I went out today, assuming I hadn't gotten into college, and anxiously comforted me. It's okay. If you didn't get in this time, we'll try again next time. I quickly wiped away my tears and choked up, saying, Mom! I got in. I really got in. My mom was stunned for a moment, then overjoyed, the wrinkles on her face smoothing out. Great! My daughter is so amazing. Mom will go kill a chicken right now to celebrate properly. She laughed so hard her mouth couldn't close, as if something had just come to mind. By the way, where's Jianghai? Did he get in too? Hearing that name, the smile on my face froze instantly. I gripped my mother's hand, my expression more serious than ever. Mom! I have something very important to do right now. I must go to town immediately. Listen to me, no matter who comes looking for me. Tell them I haven't come back. Especially Zhao Jianghai. Don't let him into the house. And definitely don't tell him where I've gone. This concerns our future, even our lives. My mom was frightened by my words, her face full of confusion. Fang, what on earth is going on? No time to explain. Mom, I said, looking into her eyes. When I come back, I'll tell you everything. After saying that, I let go of her hand, turned around, and ran toward the town along the path by the back door. Without looking back, when I returned after finishing my business, it was already completely dark. My mother wasn't asleep. She was sitting by the table, waiting for me under the dim glow of a kerosene lamp, with the food still warm in the pot. Quick, eat up. You must be starving. I took a few bites of rice before my mother finally spoke. Fang, you were right. As soon as you left, Zhao Jianghai came right after, standing at the door cursing and complaining for a long time. I remembered your words and didn't let him in. Nor did I say you went to town. She paused, looking at me with concern. Can you tell Mom what really happened now? I put down my bowl and chopsticks, gazing at my mother's face, etched with toil, and I felt a pang of sorrow that made me want to cry. Mom, Actually, I've come back from rebirth. Rebirth. What does that mean? Mom widened her eyes, looking a bit confused. I took a deep breath and recounted everything I had endured in my previous life, from Zhao Jianghai stealing my admission notice for Su Jiaojiao, my mother's accidental death, to the betrayal by both of them, and finally, my death from sheer anger. My mother listened with tears streaming down her face, crying so hard she could barely speak. My dear Fong Fong, you've suffered so much. It's Mom's fault for being useless and failing to protect you. Letting you be bullied by that ungrateful Zhao Jianghai like this. Mom, it's not your fault. I was blind and foolish to trust that bastard Zhao Jianghai. I held her tightly. Mom, don't be sad. Heaven let me be reborn just so we mother and daughter can live well together. In this life. I'm not only going to college. I'm also going to take you to the city to enjoy a happy life. The most important thing now is to find time to break off the engagement with the Zhao family and sever ties with them. No way are they going to keep sucking blood from us. My mother wiped away her tears, her eyes filled with anger and determination. Yes, I'll listen to you. The next day, I shouldered the hoe and went to the field to weed. Just as I had cleared 2 handfuls of weeds, Zhao Jianghai sauntered over. He smiled like a sticky plaster. Fong Fong, I came to apologize. I was a bit too harsh with my words yesterday. Please don't take it to heart. I couldn't be bothered to deal with him, so I lowered my head and continued weeding. Sure enough, his next words revealed his true intentions. Jiao Jiao said there's no need for you to give up the admission letter. She's prepared to buy your admission letter for 300 yuan. I stopped what I was doing and looked at him as if he were the biggest joke I'd ever seen. 300 yuan, and you think you can buy my future? Dream on. Zhao Jianghai's face instantly turned red with anger. Yi Fong Fong, don't push your luck. Do you think 300 yuan is so easy to earn? I advise you to know when to stop. I slammed my hoe into the ground and glared at him coldly. Then why don't you sell your admission letter? 300 yuan would be enough to cover your family's living expenses for 3 or 4 years. Zhao Jianghai instantly bristled, shouting in a fit of anger and shame. How can you compare yourself to me? I'm a man, and I'm going to make a fortune in the future. What's the use of a woman like you reading so many books? In the end, won't you just have to stay at home washing clothes, cooking, and serving your in-laws? Fong Fong, I think you should marry me sooner and learn how to be a proper wife. Looking at his self-righteous face, I felt a wave of nausea churning in my stomach. Didn't you yesterday shout about breaking off the engagement? That suits me just fine, go ahead and break it off. From now on, who takes care of your parents is your business, don't bother me with it. His eyes instantly turned colder, and he took a step forward, trying to grab my arm. But I dodged. I picked up the hoe and pointed it at him. Now, get out of my sight immediately, or I'll smash your head open with this hoe. His eyes were red with rage, and as I let my guard down, he suddenly lunged forward, pushing me to the ground. Before I could react, he was already pressing down on me. I screamed in terror. Zhao Jianghai, what do you want to do? A triumphant, sinister smile spread across his face. Yi Fong Fong, I'm going to deal with you today. By the time school starts, you'll definitely be pregnant. Let's see how you're going to go to college. You'll have to stay in the village and bear my children obediently. You beast. So that's what you were planning. Go eat shit, you bastard. I mustered all my strength and kicked him hard between the legs. Ow. He let out an inhuman scream, clutching his crotch and curling up like a shrimp. I scrambled to my feet and ran home without looking back. I ran all the way home, and only when I was gasping for breath did I notice that my door was slightly ajar. But my mother wasn't home. She had gone to town to sell the vegetables she grew herself. A sense of foreboding washed over me. I rushed into the house in a panic. I saw Su Jiaojiao standing by the bed, holding my admission letter in her hand. Su Jiaojiao, how did you get my admission letter? I stared at her intently, my voice trembling. She waved the letter in her hand, smiling with smug satisfaction. Brother Jianghai said you always like to hide important things in the hidden compartment above the bed, so he told me to just come and take it directly. She paused, then sighed with feigned regret. What a shame he couldn't hold you back a little longer, letting you discover it so quickly. It turned out that everything Zhao Jianghai had done to me in the field was to buy time, so that Su Jiaojiao could steal the admission notice I was using. My blood turned icy cold in an instant, leaving only a deep, bone-chilling hatred. Su Jiaojiao, put down my admission notice. She laughed even more recklessly. Once it's in my hands, it's mine. Why should I put it down? This is theft. I'm going to the police station to report you. Call the police. She seemed to have heard the biggest joke of all. My family has connections at the Public Security Bureau. Do you really think your report will do any good? My whole body went rigid. Right. How could I forget? Her father is the village chief. And her family has connections. Last year, her grandmother stole a chicken from Aunt Wang's house. Aunt Wang went to report it, but instead, she was charged with causing trouble and detained for 2 days. My eyes burning red, I lunged forward without a second thought. Give it back to me. But before I could even touch her, a large hand like an iron clamp grabbed my arm tightly. Zhao Jianghai had somehow rushed in. His facial features twisted out of shape with anger. Yi Fang Fang. You fucking bitch. How dare you kick me? I'm going to beat you to death today. He raised his palm, as large as a cattail leaf fan, and with a gust of foul wind, it was about to come down. Stop. Zhao Jianghai. What do you think you're doing? An angry shout rang out as my mother, holding an iron rake, rushed in and pointed it firmly at Zhao Jianghai. Zhao Jianghai's raised hand instantly froze in midair, and his aggressive demeanor immediately shrank back. Auntie, I didn't mean to do anything. I was just playing a game with Fang Fang. As soon as he finished speaking, his eyes turned cold, and he suddenly shoved me against the wall. With a dull thud, my back slammed into the hard mud brick wall, causing me to grit my teeth in pain, sweat breaking out on my forehead. Ah, my daughter. My mother let out a terrified scream and dropped the rake. Running towards me, Zhao Jianghai took this opportunity to grab Su Jiaojiao and disappeared through the doorway. Daughter, are you okay? My mother was in tears, her hands trembling as she tried to help me up, yet afraid to touch my wound. Where does it hurt? Tell Mom. Mom will take you to the hospital right now. I shook my head, then reached back to hold her cold hand, giving her a reassuring look. Mom, I'm fine. Really fine. My mother's tears fell even harder. She looked around the mess of the room, her voice trembling. That beast Zhao Jianghai and Su Jiaojiao, what are they doing here? What's that in Su Jiaojiao's hand? It's my acceptance letter. What? My mother was struck as if by lightning, her eyes widening in shock. Then she let out a desperate wail. What are you going to do without your acceptance letter? It's all my fault. Why did I let you go weeding in the fields? I shouldn't have let you go. She seemed to go mad, raising her hand and violently pounding her own head. My heart ached, and I quickly grabbed her hand. Mom, don't do this. What they stole was fake. My mother's crying and movements abruptly stopped as she stared at me in a daze. I stood up and went to retrieve the real admission letter that was hidden under the large jar used for pickling vegetables. When that admission letter, stamped with a bright red official seal, appeared intact before our eyes, my mother stared blankly, tears streaming down her hazy eyes. Yet she smiled and asked me, what's going on? I rushed to town yesterday just to make a fake admission letter that looks real. I knew they wouldn't let go of my admission letter, so I was fully prepared. Sure enough, if they can't get it, they'll come to steal it today. I looked at my mother, a pang of guilt welling up in my eyes. Mom, to make this fake one, I pawned your silver bracelet. But my mother suddenly hugged me tightly, patting my back with great force. Stupid girl. Isn't everything Mom has eventually going to be left to you? A surge of warmth spread throughout my body, dispelling the intense pain in my back. I took a deep breath, my gaze becoming incredibly resolute. Mom, let's go to the Zhao family right now to break off the engagement. Arriving at the Zhao family, Zhao's mother was crouched on a small stool, picking vegetables. She didn't even lift her eyelids, ordering me in a familiar, commanding tone. What are you still standing there for? The pigs are already hungry and squealing. Go chop the pig feed quickly. In my previous life, I was used to being bossed around by her like this. Whatever she told me to do, I did it. Foolishly believing it was my future mother-in-law testing me and showing affection. Utterly ridiculous. My mother's chest heaved violently as she charged forward in a swift stride. With a sharp smack, she flung the marriage certificate bearing my and Zhao Jianghai's birth details right into Mrs. Zhao's face. Zhao's mother covered her face and suddenly stood up, shocked and angry. Big sister, what are you doing? My mother clenched her teeth, each word like a knife. Break off the engagement. What kind of joke is this? Zhao's mother cried out in shock. I was just discussing with the child's father, choosing a good day to bring Fong Fong into the family. Now you're coming to break off the engagement. Don't pretend with me here. My mother trembled with anger. I don't believe you two don't know what your son did today. The flicker of guilt on Zhao's mother's face was instantly replaced by bitterness and calculation. She glanced me up and down, her gaze like that of someone inspecting a commodity that had already lost its value. So what? She spoke with righteous indignation. Anyway, your daughter won't be able to go to college anyway, so it's better to marry her into our Zhao family sooner. My son is now a college student, and he'll become a state cadre in the future, very sought after. I sneered inwardly. They don't want to marry my daughter at all. Clearly, they just want me to work as a free laborer for their family for life, while also scheming to take our house and wipe out our family line. Seeing that we remained silent, Zhao's mother grew even more smug, crossing her arms and lifting her chin higher. Our Zhao family is willing to keep our promise and marry your daughter. That's a great blessing for your Yi family. And yet you still dare to think about breaking off the engagement. You two women are truly ungrateful. Keep this blessing for yourselves. Meeting her disdainful gaze, I continued. I advise you to cancel this marriage promptly. Or else. Or else what? A chilling voice came from inside the room. Zhao Jianghai stepped out, looking down at me from above. His gaze felt as if he had seized my vital spot, holding my life and death in his hands. Yi Fong Fong, what right do you have to bring up breaking off the engagement? If it really happens, no one will want you anymore. No one will want me. I couldn't help but laugh, a cold curve lifting the corner of my lips. Zhao Jianghai, you're right. I won't back out of this marriage anymore. Zhao Jianghai and his mother were both stunned. I took a step forward, my voice as soft as a lover's whisper, yet laced with poison. I not only won't call off the engagement, but I'm going to marry into your Zhao family right away, once I become your lawful wife. If you and Su Jiaojiao continue to date, that would be adultery, in city terms. Su Jiaojiao is nothing but a shameless mistress. I'll take our marriage certificate straight to your university and make sure everyone knows about your dirty little secret, so you and that wretched woman can never hold your heads up again for the rest of your lives. You, how dare you? Zhao Jianghai turned red in the face and furious, unable to bear me speaking that way about his beloved. I ignored his rage and continued. Not only that, once you go to the city for school, I'll add some dichlorvos to the food I cook for your parents at home, just to see if I can poison them. If the poison doesn't kill them, the river is icy cold in winter, I'll push them in and see if they can still climb back up. Zhao Jianghai, listen up. As long as this marriage isn't called off, I have 100 ways to torment your parents, making them wish they were dead. Ah! Mother Zhao let out a piercing scream. My son, break off the engagement. Break it off right now. You're a college student. There's no shortage of women for you. We can't have this crazy woman in our family. We just can't. She shouted at the top of her voice into the inner room. Husband, quickly bring out the marriage certificate. Soon, 2 marriage certificates with our birth dates and times were brought together. I personally tore them into pieces. From that day on, I had no further connection with Zhao Jianghai. All right, now that the wedding's off, you two get out of my house right away. Zhao's mother pushed me and my mom, eager to get us out. I patted the paper scraps off my clothes. Don't worry, we'll definitely leave. But my gaze shifted. landing on Zhao Jianghai's ashen face. What's the matter? He took a step closer with a forced, insincere smile, thinking he was being charming. Yi Fangfang, are you regretting it now? Actually, if you beg me, he nodded with an air of self-importance. Marrying you is out of the question. But if you follow me and Jiao Jiao to the city and cook and do laundry for us for free, maybe after we graduate, I'll be generous enough to help you find a job in the city. I was so speechless that I actually laughed out loud. Zhao Jianghai, you're overthinking it. Breaking off the engagement with you is a decision I will never regret in this lifetime. I suppressed my smile and looked at him calmly. I just want to remind you that it's best to get married to Su Jiaojiao as soon as possible. After all, Su Jiaojiao is the most beautiful girl in our 10 villages, and also the village chief's beloved daughter. By the time she gets to college, there will be plenty of outstanding young men chasing her in that glamorous world. What if one day she looks down on you, a country boy? By then, you won't even have time to cry. You're talking nonsense. He indeed grew anxious, his face flushing to the color of pig liver. Jiaojiao isn't that kind of person. Stop trying to sow discord here. I've said all I need to say, believe it or not. It's up to you. I couldn't be bothered to spare him another glance, turning instead to take my mother's hand. Mom, let's go home. As soon as we entered the house, my mom was already sitting on a small stool, her eyes red. Mom, what's wrong? She looked up at me, her face filled with guilt. Fang, tell me, what else do we have that we can sell? You're going to college tuition, living expenses. Mom is really worried sick. I held her rough hand and lowered my voice. Mom, don't worry. My tuition and living expenses have already been taken care of. She suddenly looked up, her eyes filled with confusion. What do you mean? I gave her a mysterious wink. You'll find out tonight. Late at night, when all was quiet, I took my mother to the small room where my grandfather had lived. The room was cold and damp, with dust piled up in the corners. I crouched down and used a shovel to pry open a loose brick, digging out a small jar from underneath. When I opened the lid, there were over a dozen silver ingots neatly stacked inside, each one heavy and solid. This, my mother gasped, her hands trembling as she picked up one of the ingots. So many treasures. Fang, how did you know these were here? I lowered my gaze. Memories from my past life flooding my mind, stabbing like needles. In your past life, after you passed away, the Zhao family seized our family's house. They tore down the old house to build a new one, and while digging the foundation, they unearthed these. Not a single penny of that money reached. Might all became Zhao Jianghai's capital for starting his business. After hearing that, my mother was so angry that her whole body trembled. Yet tears streamed down her face full of concern for me. Damn the Zhao family. Using our Yi family's money to become rich and still bullying my daughter like this. I cursed the Zhao family to have no descendants. I held her up. Mom, the Zhao and Su families won't let us off easily. If they find out we still have this money, it'll be our death sentence. We must leave here as soon as possible. She nodded heavily, wiping away her tears with her sleeve. I'll listen to you. As long as you're safe, I'm willing to do whatever you want. Mom, I don't know what sweet talk Zhao Jianghai used, but in any case, he and Su Jiaojiao got their marriage certificate, and the news spread throughout the entire village like wildfire. They also planned to hold the wedding and the college celebration banquet together before the start of the school year. A double blessing. The villagers said I was a fool for giving up a college-educated husband and calling off the engagement. My mother and I said nothing, pretending to be sad, staying at home doing farm work. That day, I was feeding the pigs when Zhao Jianghai and Su Jiaojiao arrived. The two of them held hands tightly, extremely affectionate. Su Jiaojiao pinched her nose, looking at me with disgust, and handed me a golden embossed invitation. Fang, come to our wedding. I really hope you can come and witness my happiness with brother Jianghai. Zhao Jianghai's eyes were filled with condescending pity and arrogance. You just want to see me break down, see me crying and saying I regret it. I don't care at all. I took the invitation and casually tossed it into the pig trough. Under their stunned gazes, I grabbed the iron shovel beside me, scooped up a heap of foul-smelling pig dung, and with a perfect parabolic arc, smeared it all over their pristine faces and bodies without missing a spot. Ah! 2 piercing screams nearly lifted the roof off the pigsty. Su Jiaojiao was furious to the point of madness, pointing at me and cursing. Yi Fang Fang, you lunatic. Someone like you deserves to feed pigs in the countryside for the rest of your life. I raised the shovel with a blank expression and shouted, "Get out! If you don't get out, I'll give you another shovelful of pig manure." The 2 of them scrambled away, leaving behind a string of vicious curses. A few days later, in the evening, their wedding banquet and college entrance celebration were held on the village's threshing ground, and the entire village attended, creating a lively and bustling scene. Under the cover of night, my mother and I each carried a bundle on our backs, quietly slipping out of the village and boarding the train overnight. I took my mother to a coastal city first, where we ate seafood we had never tasted in our lives and saw the ocean we had never laid eyes on before. The smile on my mother's face was even brighter than the sun by the sea. We didn't board the train to the capital until we had had our fill of fun. Outside the gates of Peking University, young faces filled with hope for the future were everywhere. Suddenly, a sharp female voice rang out, capturing everyone's attention. How could my admission letter possibly be fake? Take another look. I am a student of Peking University, there can't be any mistake. It was Su Jiaojiao. Beside her, Zhao Jianghai was anxiously explaining to a senior wearing an armband. "Senior, the delivery person who brought my acceptance letter also delivered Jiaojiao's. Mine is real, so how could hers be fake?" I stood behind them, watching them like 2 ants on a hot pan, and couldn't help but burst into laughter. The 2 of them suddenly turned their heads, and when they saw me, the shock on their faces was like seeing a ghost in broad daylight. Zhao Jianghai's expression instantly darkened. "Yi Fang Fang. What are you doing here? You didn't even get into college, didn't cause trouble here. Get out now." I didn't even bother to give him a dirty look. I walked past him and went straight to the senior with glasses, pulling out my admission letter. "Hello, senior. I'm a new student here to register." "It's her. She stole my acceptance letter." Su Jiaojiao suddenly screamed like a madwoman and lunged forward, reaching out to snatch the thing from my hand. I quickly pulled my hand back, clutching the admission letter tightly to my chest, and stared at her coldly. The senior students at the reception frowned and stepped between me and Su Jiaojiao. "Classmate, please calm down." Then he turned to me. "Classmate, could you please show us your admission letter and ID for verification?" I handed both items over at once. The senior carefully examined them, but his frown deepened. "Strange. How can there be 2 Yi Fang Fangs? I'm the real Yi Fang Fang." Su Jiaojiao quickly pulled out her ID card from her pocket and thrust it in front of the senior. "I have an ID too. Look." I glanced at it. On that brand new ID card, the name Yi Fang Fang made me stunned. The next second, I understood. To replace me. Su Jiaojiao had actually changed her name before the start of school. I can prove that the person beside me is Yi Fang Fang. I grew up with her since childhood and would never mistake her identity. As for this person, she's nothing but a liar who speaks nothing but falsehoods. Don't you dare believe her." Zhao Jianghai pointed at me with an air of righteousness, his voice louder than anyone else's. Su Jiaojiao immediately chimed in, her eyes red and teary. "Senior, she's an imposter. She stole my admission letter and forged my identity." The seniors frowned and exchanged glances with each other. "This isn't simple, let's report it to the school leadership first," one of the seniors whispered, then picked up the phone. Within 5 minutes, the 3 of us were brought into the principal's office. In the office, Su Jiaojiao chattered like a sparrow. "Principal, you have to believe me. I'm the real Yi Fang Fang. She's a fraud, she's trying to steal my life." Zhao Jianghai also chimed in with a serious expression. "Everyone in our village knows she never got into college. She must be trying to sneak into Peking University to scam food and shelter." The principal rubbed his temples, simply raising a hand to signal for quiet, then looked at me, who had remained silent all along. "How can you prove that you are the real Yi Fang Fang?" And that your admission letter wasn't stolen. It's simple. I smiled. Give me a high school exam paper, whether it's Chinese, math, or English. If I score less than 130, I'll turn myself in. I turned and stared at Su Jiaojiao, a mocking smile curling at the corner of my lips. An on-the-spot exam, do you dare? Su Jiaojiao's face instantly turned pale. She instinctively grabbed Zhao Jianghai's arm and whispered to him, "Brother Jianghai. What if I can't pass the exam?" Zhao Jianghai glared at me, trying to maintain his composure. It's been so long since graduation. It's normal to forget some knowledge. This sudden test doesn't really mean anything, does it? Before he could finish, the senior wearing glasses spoke coldly from the side. It's been just over 2 months since the college entrance exam. It's impossible to forget that quickly. I suggest we arrange a test right now. The principal nodded. In fact, from my calmness and Su Jiaojiao's panic, it was already clear who was lying. But the principal still lacked conclusive evidence to make a final judgment. I never expected Su Jiaojiao couldn't withstand the test and broke down on the spot, suddenly bursting into tears. "Brother Jianghai, you said that as long as I got Yi Fangfang's admission letter, I could go to university. You never mentioned there would be an exam." Sob. "I've never passed math before. What should I do now? Can I still attend this university?" The entire office fell silent, with only her sobbing and crying echoing in the room. Zhao Jianghai stomped his feet in anger, his expression a mix of fury, regret, and a hint of disappointment. He pushed Su Jiaojiao aside and shouted at the principal with a livid face, "Principal, I have nothing to do with this crazy woman. I was deceived too, and I know nothing about what she said." His attempt to wash his hands of the matter made me sneer coldly. "Zhao Jianghai, you are truly shameless. It was clearly all your idea. Yet now you're throwing all the blame onto your wife." I turned to the principal and said, "Principal, I believe someone like Zhao Jianghai, who has such poor character and no sense of responsibility, is not fit to be a student at Peking University. I suggest that we fire him." "Yi Fangfang. What nonsense are you talking? Shut up." Zhao Jianghai roared at me in a rage. He only realized after shouting that in his panic, he had already admitted that I am Yi Fangfang. All his previous righteousness was just an act. The mockery at the corner of my mouth deepened. Where did I make up nonsense? "You asked Su Jiaojiao to come to my house and steal my admission notice just to be with her, trying to have her take over my life. If I hadn't prepared a fake one in advance, your scheme would have actually succeeded." As soon as these words were spoken, the entire room was shocked. The bespectacled senior was so angry that his face turned pale. "Classmate Yi, why didn't you report such a big matter to the police?" I forced a bitter smile, my expression filled with helplessness and sorrow. "Report to the police. Su Jiaojiao's father is the village chief, with plenty of connections. If I really reported this to the police, I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to walk out of the village alive." My gaze swept over the crowd, finally settling on the principal. I knelt straight down on both knees. "Principal, please help me. Give me back my innocence. Give me back my justice." The principal and the others' expressions instantly turned serious. They helped me up, their tone unusually grave. "This is no longer just a personal grudge. We will immediately report this to the relevant authorities and investigate it thoroughly. There are many officials in the capital, and many of them are good ones." Within less than 3 days, the matter was thoroughly investigated and clarified. I, Yi Fangfang, am a legitimate and upright freshman at Peking University. Su Jiaojiao is nothing but an impostor and a fake. Zhao Jianghai, who assisted in the fraud, has an unscrupulous character and was directly rejected by Peking University, leaving a lifelong stain on his record. The day the news spread across the campus, I witnessed a farce at the school gate. Zhao Jianghai, with red eyes, unleashed all his fury on Su Jiaojiao, punching and kicking her in full view of everyone. "It's all because of you. You bitch. You ruined me. You ruined my entire life." If someone hadn't called the police, Su Jiaojiao might have been beaten to death on the spot. I watched all of this indifferently, then turned and walked away. I began a new chapter of my life at Peking University, living each day with excitement and fulfillment. My mother, with her excellent skill in making steamed buns, opened a small shop near the university town, and business was booming. Our lives, like the steam rising from the steamer, were thriving and flourishing. I just never expected that on the day I received my diploma, I would see the person I hated most in my life, Zhao Jianghai. I didn't care about his family affairs, but when interacting with people from my hometown, I inevitably heard quite a few rumors. That year, after being expelled from Peking University, Zhao Jianghai and Su Jiaojiao took a train back to their hometown. As soon as I arrived at the village entrance, I saw Su Jiaojiao's father, the village chief, being arrested for abusing his power and oppressing the villagers. Part of their illegal gains were confiscated, and part was returned to the villagers. The villagers clapped and cheered, thanking the government. Su Jiaojiao went from being the village belle that everyone praised to a rat that everyone shouts at and chases away. Zhao Jianghai wanted to get rid of her, but unfortunately, he couldn't. Su Jiaojiao was pregnant. The two of them fought constantly at home, smashing pots and bowls. Later, Su Jiaojiao gave birth to a son, but unfortunately, when he had a high fever, he wasn't taken to the hospital in time and ended up with brain damage. Zhao's mother pointed at Su Jiaojiao's nose every day, calling her a jinx and finding all sorts of ways to torment her. These melons have brought immense joy to my heart. I cast a cold gaze at the scruffy, disheveled man standing before me. What are you doing here? He looked up at me, his voice hoarse. Fang Fang, we shouldn't be like this. I had a dream, a very real dream. In the dream, I was the CEO of a publicly traded company, worth hundreds of millions, and you were my wife. And we had a smart and adorable son. We were deeply in love and very happy. His eyes sparkled with fervor, as if that wasn't a dream, but a future he could easily grasp. Fang Fang, that was our past life. We are a match made in heaven. Give me another chance. Let's start over. I will treat you well, even better than before. He tried to grab my hand. I dodged to the side and smiled. What a coincidence. I had a dream too. My voice was soft, yet each word pierced his heart like an ice pick. I dreamed that because of you, my mother died early, and I was tormented by your parents until life was worse than death. You and Su Jiaojiao conspired to steal my college admission letter, used my family's money to live a carefree life in the capital, and even dumped your illegitimate child on me to raise in the end. I was literally angered to death by the three of you. Zhao Jianghai widened his eyes, took a step back in disbelief, and stammered for a long time before squeezing out a sentence. Fang Fang, I was wrong, truly wrong. Please forgive me. The next second, he dropped to his knees with a thud, sobbing uncontrollably, as if truly repentant. Students passing by turned to look, some pulling out their phones to take pictures, while others whispered among themselves. Zhao Jianghai tried to persist, but I called the security guard. Please escort this irrelevant outsider off the premises. Thank you. Two security guards unceremoniously grabbed him, and he struggled, turning back to shout, Yi Fang Fang, you wait, I'll start a business. One day, you'll never be able to match me. Zhao Jianghai wanted to start a business by leveraging future information gaps, but unfortunately, that is no longer possible. Those new ideas and promising projects that could make money, I had already shared them in advance with trusted people around me and collaborated with them to start businesses. We formed teams, drafted plans, and sought investments. Each step was taken steadily and firmly, bringing us closer to success than any mere daydream ever could. Later, the news I heard about Zhao Jianghai was of his death. Su Jiaojiao couldn't bear her mother-in-law's daily insults, resenting herself for giving birth to a foolish son, and bitterly blaming her husband who achieved nothing and only boasted and made empty promises. One late night, she set fire to the entire Zhao family home, reducing it to ashes, including herself, who perished in the flames. But at this moment, I am no longer the Yi Fang Fang from my previous life, trapped in a tiny space, suffocated to death. I've just signed a multi-million-dollar deal in my luxurious and spacious office. Sunlight streams into my office. Warm and cozy. My mother, dressed in brand new clothes, brings steaming hot soup dumplings and greets the employees. Come on, everyone. Try these. They're filled with my latest recipe. She always wears a smile on her face, looking even younger than before. The journey of life is long and winding. Some may sink into the mire, while others forge ahead through thorns and brambles toward the light. The days that belong to us will only grow brighter, never pausing or looking back for anyone. End.